All right. Well, we are here for our connected dots where we are going to go over our aha moments, answer any questions that you have. And also, I know that if there's any questions that we didn't get to that we feel we want to share, then we will go into that. But this is one of our favorite parts because you also get some coaching if you want, and just open up our hearts even more.
Yeah. So there actually is another question that was in the chat, which let's address. So here it is. I am a beginner of finding my true self. I feel others always tell me how to live. Where do I even begin? Go ahead, Ames. Do you want to jump in?
Yes. Be careful of those people who tell you how to live and what to do. I mean, this is part of, and I have a big belief in this, a part of coaching. I am not here to tell you who to be or what to do. I'm here to ask questions and to allow space for you to figure out who you are, because we are complex human beings. I am not the same as Marcy. Marcy is not the same as Deborah. Deborah's not the same as Savannah. And this is part of our power, is respecting that, because we were told you're going to go over here, you're going to do this role, you're going to be like this, that's how you're going to be, and you're going to do that. So we're all taught how to be, but it's not who we actually were or are. So when people tell you who to be, it's oftentimes a good idea just to smile and say thank you and walk away, and not indulge them. And you can say, hey, I got this. And you can claim like, hey, I'm fine, I got this. And also be careful who you share your journey with, because there's many people who will not, who have their own insecurities and their own controlling things they get to release if they want to, that are going to put that on you. And it has nothing to do with you. You are your own soul self. There's no one who could tell you what's right, what's wrong, what you should do. Only you. And until we take on that responsibility, because it was never given to us as women, until we really own that responsibility, it's really hard for us to own our own voice. So I would say be wary of those who tell you what to do and who to be and how to do it.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely. Thank you. Deborah, how about you? What's your response?
At the beginning of any path, it can feel very wobbly, right? It's like learning how to walk when we're just first born. And so I always like to think, when you see little people learning how to walk and they do the drunk walk, it's very easy to topple them over. That's what it's like when you're finding yourself. It's very easy to get toppled over by other people's thoughts and other people's opinions and other people's suggestions. So it's a beautiful training mode to be in, to begin to distinguish and decipher what's yours and what somebody else's. Okay. And that is something that will be of incredible value to you as you continue to develop yourself and find your true self. And as you go on with life, because you could just walk out the door and go into a grocery store and start to feel sad. You were having a great day. But all of a sudden, what you'll start to realize is, oh, that's not my sadness. That's the sadness of whatever somebody else or that's in this grocery store, not yours. And to begin to distinguish what's yours and what's other people's is going to help you to stay within your most mojolicious self, as I like to say, and be really connected to your own power, your pleasure, and your potency, yours, not others. So play with. And it really is a training ground. Everything, life is a training ground, right? There's nothing that's completely absolute. So play with and begin to get very skillful and adept with what's yours and what somebody else is. And look, some people might have great suggestions. You get to decide if you want to take that on as yours. That is a choice. And to make that choice consciously, again, will allow you to stay within your mojo versus getting batted around by other people's thoughts and desires.
That's great. Thank you. And if I could jump in, what I would say is, first off, you're not as much of a beginner as you think you are. The fact that you have this awareness already, that people are often telling you how to live, and that it is something that the essence of your being is, bringing forth this message. Wait, there's something wrong with this. That might not be resonating with me, or I don't want to hear what somebody else says about how I should be living my life. The fact that you are conflicted, you're well on your way. So from my perspective of self-love, what we learn to do is to discern those energies. And then we also cultivate the courage to take the action that it requires. And this is how we actually step into the transition and through those cycles of becoming our authentic selves, finding our voice, and co-creating with the energy of creation itself what we really want to experience. I think something that you heard from every person here today was the courage that it took for them to choose to do something differently. So no matter what each of us, experienced, and all of it, right, was traumatic on its own levels. Each one of us still chose to take that trauma, to take what we learned, to take whatever it was that we experienced and energetically shift. I call this heart shifting, by the way. We are shifting from what that is, what was dealt us, into it becoming evidence that we have become more expansive and that we're now able to allow life to be extended through us differently. So again, from my perspective, it's important to learn how to discern that energy. When you're feeling yourself, shrinking down energetically, it's your first sign. Wait a second, something's amiss here, and I'm being called to come forward from my higher place. So I hope that that has answered your question. If not, feel free to come back next month and we just will continue to address things. Or if you're still here, you can add, an additional aspect of the question in the chat. We're happy to address it. And
Let's jump in and say one more thing, if I may.
Yeah, please, Zane.
And it's something that Deborah hit on. We have, if you can Google it, but emotions are contagious. They are energies. And so we must be aware that when we are around negative people or people who are fearful or people who are unhappy, that's very contagious as we bring it into our energy field. And we must protect ourselves from that. And just that knowledge, like, oh, what am I, with the fact that emotions are contagious. So like, I don't know, last show, remember, I was like crying.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, and all of a sudden, everyone else is
all
like,
the time.
yeah. I know. Everyone else is like, so we, even through Zoom, through movies, remember, it's like all of those emotions and things that we take in because they are energy. We give and take energy to each other. So we must be aware that that's a fact. And then if that's true, how can I keep myself feeling more grounded in my new vision or what I want to do? Well, it's not going to be about being around negative people and who are angry and unhappy and dissatisfied. That will only transfer onto us. So we must be aware of that. We must be aware that energy is transferable. Emotions are transferable. So you must always put yourself first in making those decisions.
Great great point, right? Choose your own.
Yeah.
Don't start carrying somebody else's.
Yeah.
So, Amy, did you have any aha moments that you want to share with people here? And
Yeah.
again, if you have any other questions,
Questions.
please put them in the chat. We'll continue to respond, but go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Nikki, with surrender, surrendering is really important. I know that we're taught to fight, be mindful, use our voice, control. We're women, hear me roar. But surrendering is much more powerful. And so why is that? Why would surrendering be more powerful than fighting? Well, peace comes to mind. It slows us down. It gives us a new outlook onto what's available to us. Like today, I had a call with the school system with the 15-year-old, and the parents want something, and the school's like, nope, can't happen. The parents are still fighting, about what they want. And me as a coach, I'm looking at surrendering is the best option for this kid, so he can learn how to navigate something when he doesn't get his own way, right? So when I thought about fighting, I thought about, dissatisfaction, control, lawyers, disruption. When I thought about surrendering, I thought growth, exploration, allowing, learning a lesson that you just can't go around do whatever you want to do without consequences, right? So surrendering is powerful. And you give up the fight for that relationship, or you give up the fight for that job, or you give up the fight for this, idea, and you just surrender and allow what will come to come, because you get more grounded in self and opportunities to be learned. The opportunity might be how to move through a cycle of relationship, how to let go, how to learn how to let go, how to give up that idea that person is going to be that perfect person for you. So surrendering, as Dr. Nikki says, is powerful. It's something that I do all the time.
Yeah. I have to agree. I do the same. And it's a skill that we must develop. Yeah, because as Amy said, we're programmed to do otherwise. And then there's this place where grace steps in, and your actions are so clear, so apparent, that they literally will just carry you through. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to remind us all of. So something that Deborah had said was a big, great reminder for me, but also this was so important. And that was, number one, to remind ourselves that pleasure is our birthright. We get into, and I've forgotten now who said it, maybe you even, Deborah, had said this, how we're or Nikki, we're in this mode of clinging to the suffering all the time, right? Conversations that are constantly going on. And what's the whole focal point? Suffering. Well, for those of us who know how energy works, there's only one thing that you can create from that place, and that's more suffering. So, because energy is always going out, it's seeking other energy just like itself, and it's going to come back to you in the form of experience. So that's what you're creating in that moment as you're buying into that. But there was something else that came out from just that simple statement, and that is pleasure is our birthright. What that means is that pleasure, and again, we're hardwired for it. We are hardwired for pleasure. We are not hardwired for suffering. The body, the mind, we're hardwired to heal. healing takes us back to a place of being able to receive and engage in pleasure. Healing doesn't take us deeper into suffering. Healing takes us, it's a freedom, it's a release. And so how powerful that statement was. And I'm pretty certain I'm going to be giving that some more thought and really letting it marinate in me. So thank you so much for that, Deborah. How about you, Deborah? Did you, we can't hear you.
Literally my pleasure.
Cute. Did you have any aha moments that you want to share with her?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, all of the conversation was so stimulating and beautiful remembering, you know, and I really loved the synergy of all of our work and how we, you know, we are definitely moving towards the same end result and bringing our own unique nuances to that. Right. And I love that. And I think for me, the aha is, again, there are many roads that lead to Rome, and it is finding the one that feels right and aligned and synergistic with you. Now, that doesn't mean that it's supposed to feel super cozy, because transition and transformation requires friction. Yep. I always like to say true. It's like, hey, look, if you want to have an orgasm, there's going to have to be some friction. You know, and even for those people who can breathe themselves into an orgasm, because that's a thing, there's still some, you know, breath is still a slight bit of friction that is happening within your own body. So I think this has all been such a beautiful reminder again of go with what your gut is telling you, go with, you know, find the coach, the mentor, the community that is the one that there's a pull there. And also, I would say go with something that scares you a little bit. Because in my experience and all the transitions I've gone through in my life and all the times that I've worked with mentors and coach and continue to, by the way, if it doesn't scare me a little bit, then I know it's going to be too easy. And if it's too easy, you aren't going to get the real juice, right? That has to have even a little bit or a lot, depending on where, you know, what you choose, of nervousness and that feeling of fear, because that lets you know that transformation is right around the corner. Right.
That's right.
Like that. So that's that. I was really remembering so much of that throughout all of our conversation. And I just loved it. I just love it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And how about anyone in our audience? Do you have anything that you would like to share? Any questions? You have two choices. You can put it in the chat, or you can go down to the bottom of your screen where there's a button. It says reactions. You can just raise your hand and we'll call on you. So feel free to do that. We are here for you. This is, as Amy said early on in our program, this is the highlight of our entire month. We love doing this show. We love being present for you, holding space for your transformation, and of course, bringing to you experts like Deborah, Dr. Nikki today, who are here, you know, to inspire and to give you the support that is so beneficial when we are during these times of deep transformation. So, okay, I see Kathleen, your hand is up. What would you like to ask?
Well, first
or
of
comment.
First of all, I just want to say I really appreciated this, because I always like getting new questions to ask myself, because sometimes we get stuck looking at one thing and we can't. Someone a long time ago said, all you got to do is make one step to the side, and then you have a different view. But sometimes just taking that can be hard. And
did you have a question you wanted to
yeah,
discuss?
well, we would do were you gonna talk a little bit more about what we were discussing earlier, or did you wanna?
Well, is there something specific left unsaid or unaddressed that you would like to ask us? That'll make it easier for us to reorient ourselves there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not good at, I don't, I find it hard to formulate my thoughts
Mhm.
sometimes. So, that's why when I asked the question, when I put the comments in, I was trying to ask a question, but it wasn't really a question like an obvious question.
Mhm. Okay,
Because when I'm trying to ask it, it's like all these things come into my head at once.
I understand.
But um for me, I um trying to get out of the, I don't know, the sickness mentality. I don't know how else to say it. But it's really hard because I don't really believe that I can heal it, but I do believe I can have an effect on it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I don't totally believe that I can get rid of all the genetic stuff, but I do
Okay.
know that I can get rid of some of the trauma stuff that I experienced, and I can learn a different way of dealing with any of the physical stuff, and maybe like um doing stuff with trauma work that would help me to, but I kind of am not sure what my next steps could be.
Mhm.
I wanna say should, but I don't wanna say should.
Right. I totally understand. So, Deborah, do you have any thoughts on that?
First of all, I love your desire to continue to move forward. And the thing that I constantly say to my ladies is take the next available step, whatever that looks like. That could be, for signing up for one of the free gifts, right? It could be sitting and being quiet for 5 minutes today. Just take the next available action, right? That which is a step. As long as you are going to continually take the next available action, you will be moving forward and you will be aligning yourself with your desire, which what I'm hearing is, right, to really like be in your body, to be with your experience in a more empowered way. And so we love, I mean, ladies, we love to complicate things, right? That's just part of the way we're made. It's part of the beauty of the feminine energy, which is not gender. That's just an energetic. The feminine energy is everything everywhere all at once. So we like to get complicated. And the fact of the matter is, this is when we need to hone into our masculine energy, which everybody has both, right? These are just energetics, not gender. And go, okay, what is that one step? What's that one action that I'm going to do now? And then you do that one. You'll find yourself floating around a little bit more. And then you go, oh, okay, hang on a second. Let me wrangle into my masculine energy for a moment. All right, what's the next available action? And you find if you really allow yourself to take that on as a practice, you will at some point turn around and go, wow, I've come a lot further than I realized.
That's great advice. Thank you, Deborah. Amy, how about you? Any thoughts?
Yes, sometimes we forget, and I know Marcy touched on this earlier, about joy, about laughter, about ease, about fun. These energies are healing energies, right? So if we are hunkered down in this concern, in this obsession, if this negative outlook, that in itself creates unhealthy cells. So the more happy you are, the more joy, the more laughter, you actually produce more healthy cells in your body. So, but we somehow think that's not as important. And I'm going to tell you, it's more important to laugh, to have joy, to have fun. That is more important than being so serious and controlling and like trying to. And yet people have a hard time with just having happiness, having joy, allowing that to come into their life, no matter what is coming at them. And so I would say I really start shifting that mindset, because staying in this concern or in this negativity, I'm not saying you're there, but this is for everybody. Staying in this mode of lower energy does not help us physically or mentally. But laughter does, joy does, fun, that you always see me laughing. I mean, right now, my world is hitting, everything is like, shh, and I'm like, you know, you just gotta laugh. You gotta enjoy, and you gotta like let that energy go so that I can take steps. Because again, if we are stressed and our body is stressed, we don't take action. We shut down. We hide. We hesitate. We don't feel capable. But the more we could like just even change our body and like, I am joyful, shoulders back, straight, all of a sudden your energy changes. So there's like the embodiment exercise of like standing tall, taking your stance, I am statements. I am happy, I'm powerful, I'm capable. All of that shifts your whole energy. And so I would focus on that as a tool to see what's next for you.
Could I make a response to that? I just wanted to say that when you started talking about that, I wanted to say at the beginning of the year, I follow a lady and she does this thing at the beginning of the year to pick a word, and I picked joy. And so you started talking and I started saying, oh boy, I've let that go again. So
This
yeah.
was a great reminder.
Time
for
to get
you.
back on that joy
Yes.
track.
Get back on that joy track. Exactly. And you know what was coming to me as I was listening to Deborah and Amy speak too, and Amy actually speaks about this often, it's radical acceptance. But we accept where we are, but we don't accept it as a death sentence. In other words, we don't accept it as where we're meant to stay. We accept it for where we are so that we can open up and remember we're on a journey. And so what Deborah said about just taking the next step, whatever it is, don't judge yourself that you think that that's way too small. She was right on. Go into these pages, these emails that you're going to get, click on those free gifts. Keep getting all of the information that's coming to you to help to support you. And you're going to start to feel that joy bubbling up again. And then the other thing that I wanted to add is how important it is that you maintain compassion for yourself. Okay? It's, from my perspective, it's number one. It's kind of like the bridge. It takes us from where we are to where we want to be. And the more compassion that you give yourself, and by the way, I do this all the time. I'm going to ask that you just put your hands on your heart and just breathe through it and release your breath out. Remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right. This is my heart. And my heart will lead me exactly where I need to go. And so whenever you have those moments of doubt or overwhelm or feel like you're hopeless even, this is the antidote. Put your hands on your heart. Stay there until you can feel, your heart beating. Feel your breath as it moves through your heart and it goes out again. And then remind yourself that every breath that you are taking in is feeding your connection to source within you. And every breath that you release out, you're supporting somebody else in doing the exact same thing. There's something that I often will share, and it's this, my it's a mantra that I use, and it's when I come to something like this, and I simply remind myself, I'm here for me and I'm here for you. But we are here for ourselves first, because we are the ones who are responsible for our happiness, as Deborah said, for, having that sense of self and freedom and all of that. So love being here, no matter what it is, like Deborah said. Just keep taking the steps that will take you somewhere else. So thank you so much for that. Anything else, Ames?
I think
Do
we hit
wanna
our
close
time.
out?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
hit our time. This is our August Live with Marcy and Amy. Thank you, Deborah, for staying and participating, and everyone in the audience. Thank you for all of your energy.
Yeah.
And
And thank you, Savannah. What a great job you did
Yeah.
in
Savannah.
keeping us all on track. Thank you so much for that. It's a hard job. And I need to say one more thing. I have a
Yes.
full confession. Okay. I had such hair envy today as I'm looking at you women, Deborah and Nikki and Amy, these gorgeous, locks of yours. Next time I'm coming on with a wig.
yeah.
I was like, but you're the foxy redhead, so
Woo, okay, I'm gonna take it. I love it. Thanks.
own all that fiery locks.
It's true.
Anyway, thank you
so
for having
true.
me, ladies. Great to be
Thank
with
you
you
so
all.
much, Deborah.
Bye for now.
What a pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. We love you so much.
I wanted
And
to say
again,
thank you.
oh, you're
Thank
so
you.
Thank you in
welcome.
sign
Kathleen.
language, but I'm emphasizing it.
We'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye now. Thank you, everyone.
Let's see here. Let's stop the